This video demonstrates soldering 3 types of surface mount technology components. The first one is a 6-pin USB-C port. The first thing to do is to add flux to the board. You may also need to clean the board first before adding flux. The USB connector is self-aligning, so seating it in is enough, but we want to still make sure that it's seating correctly, so we want to solder one pin first, and this glues the connector temporarily to the board. After that, you want to check closely if all the pins are aligned correctly or not. Once that is confirmed, the back 4 pins are soldered, then the rest of the front pins are finished. The steps are important to ensure the whole process goes smoothly. Trying to realign the pins when they are all soldered would be very hard, so take your time. The next component is a surface mount chip. This process is similar to any type of package. The SOP16 for this chip is relatively big. Chips with smaller spacing between their pins work the same. First, a corner pin is soldered, and this serves as a gluing point for the chip to align to. This step is most important. You want to make sure all the pins are aligned as perfectly as possible. Once that is done, you then want to solder the opposite corner pin, and this would temporarily fix the chip to the board. Once that is done, you can add flux to all the pins. There are few techniques that are acceptable for the next step. Here I am pre-tinning the tip of my soldering iron and using it to drag solder all the pins. You can solder one pin at a time, but drag soldering is faster. This technique requires the soldering iron tip to have a rather higher temperature. Normally, you would want to use a larger soldering tip for this. With my smaller soldering tip, I am doing several passes to ensure no cold soldering has occurred. Finally, you inspect your job closely and clean up the board. The flux used here is very nice. It makes cleaning effortless, and it costs 80 cents per tube from AliExpress. The next component is a tiny resistor with 2 surface mount pads. The most effective way to solder these little guys by hand is to first pre-solder one of the pads and use it as glue to temporarily hold the components to the board, then solder the other pad alternatively. Here I resolder the first pad to ensure that no cold soldering would be occurring. This is an extra step that could save you a lot of headache later on trying to find a cold soldering joint. And that is pretty much it. Surface mount soldering can be very easy if you know the correct techniques. Flux is your best friend, and I personally recommend 900M T2C bevel soldering iron tip. It's the one that I am using in this video. It has replaced a pointed tip that beginners would use. Last but not least, have fun and enjoy playing with yourself. See you later, alligator.